We need to Doge the entire Fed. We got to send somebody in there, roll up their sleeves. What on earth has this institution been up to, setting the cost of money in secret 8 times a year, denying us the ability to know what's actually going on? That is un-American, and that is antithetical to what our founders stood for.
Who do you think we could send in there? An institution that's so embedded with people, with so many people that have this Trump derangement syndrome and cherry pick only what they want out of Trump's agenda.
The president, as you know, is known for out of left field picks to shake up the order. I gotta tell you the truth. We cannot have another Fed governor at the Fed. We just can't. These are good guys. I like Chris Waller. He's the current Fed governor. He's formerly at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. He's actually called for rate cuts. There's talk now of Kevin Warsh being on the short list. He's also a past Fed governor. We need somebody who's going to totally shake up the system, a businessman who deeply understands macroeconomics and the correlations in our economy. There's one guy for the job, and that's Scott Bessent. And I hope the president will look at the good work that Scott has done at Treasury and say now is time for Scott to move on to the Fed, to shake up Treasury in the same way, rather to shake up the Fed in the same way that he's shaken up Treasury. He's the guy for the job. I mean, he's a guy, by the way, I'm a macro trader. I spent 10 years trading interest rate derivatives at 2 different hedge funds. My job was to look at the Fed and to try to make money based on their every single move. Scott was literally responsible for breaking the Bank of England in 1992. No one understands central banking and the intricacies and pressure points that are enabled by their policies. He is the guy for the job. I deeply respect Chris Waller, who's currently at the Fed. I respect Kevin Warsh, who served at the Fed beforehand. We cannot have a status quo candidate Doge the Fed. Scott's going to get in there, is going to lower rates, not because the president wants him to do that, but because the economic justification would ask him to do that. The models say to do that. Common sense says to do that. When inflation goes from 9% to 2%, you don't keep interest rates near 20-year highs. And so my pick is Scott Bessent. I hope the president would seriously consider Scott for the job as Fed chair.